Live right here at Pittsburgh CW. It is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We do this 7 nights a week. Always here taking your calls at 412-575-2600. Gene, I'm going to ask you about what happened yesterday. Justin Tucker specifically hasn't missed a kick forever. And then an extra point to send the game in overtime, and the stunned looks around the stadium summed it all up, including his eyes, which bulged out like, what? I missed that.
Yeah, bad for him. It looked to me clearly like the wind just took that out of there. But I didn't know that the wind was much of a factor at that time during the game, was it?
There were some gusts, but I think if you try to play the wind, you can get yourself into trouble because you start compensating for something instead of just kicking the ball.
Is this golf talk now?
This is golf talk, yeah. So I'm trying to use golf strategy.
So you think that's what happened to him?
Well, I think he overanalyzed it, and as a result, he cut across it and put a little bit on it.
Oh, so you put it all on him?
I put it all on him, yeah.
See, I had it all on the wind.
He took responsibility. I like that.
Yeah,
he stood up.
But I had it all on the wind, so I'm going to defer to you as you play golf.
All right, and how real are the Kansas City Chiefs? That's the question,
pretty
too.
Good, pretty good.
Mahomes has 22 touchdown passes in his first 8 games as a starter, so that tells you a lot about his ability, and they got weapons all over the place. Oh, yeah. They're going to be one of those teams, and I'm sure they are looking at an opportunity maybe to play New England again after they lost to them, but came back in the second half. A lot of good stuff going on in that department. Let's go out to the lines. We've got Tony in the Hill District first up. Hey, Tony.
Hey, Bob. Hi, Gene. How are you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to say this. Whatever happened to Smash Mouth football? I mean, because I'm saying, like, back in the 60s and 70s, you know, to make people watch more is because and the stuff that they was doing, you know, teeth getting knocked out, stuff like that. And it seemed like to me, like Clay Matthews, the hit Clay Matthews did, I don't think he should have got fined for that.
No, not at all.
Because I just wanted to say I don't understand, because it's like every time somebody get touched, tapped on the shoulder or something like that, they just making these outrageous calls.
You know, it's interesting, Tony, and Gene, I want to ask you about, with regard to Vontaze Burfict, we've been talking a lot, but he did get fined eventually, $112,000, and I'm wondering what's going to take for the league to suspend him again, because those hits necessarily weren't, you know, to me, suspendable hits by themselves if you look at him just individually, but because he is a man who's had a long history.
Offender.
Yes. I mean, shouldn't they look at those differently when he does it again, time and time? Shouldn't he have been suspended?
I've said on this show I think he should be banned from the league. I know that's a dubious legal precedent, but there's no place in the game for a player that just, it's clear he just wants to hurt people. He doesn't even care what happens. There's good film from the Kansas City game yesterday where he's like he's pretending to or trying to stomp on someone while the running back is running behind his back hunt. Unbelievable. He shouldn't be allowed in the game.
He really shouldn't, but he is, and they continue to do it. And one day, if they continue to allow this, they'll have more lawsuits coming at him because of Vontaze Burfict. We have Kevin Davis at KD Pomp and at Gene Collier, and Kevin says, I will not root for a National League team in every World Series because the National League is the last league I know of on earth that still plays real baseball. No DH, none of the time.
So you won't vote for root for the National League?
No, I'm sorry. I will root for the National League.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kevin said he will root. So, you know, that DH thing, we had Jim Leland on the radio show with Cook and Joe today, and he said that he likes the DH and would like the DH in the National League to make it universal all the way through. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I don't like it, but I know Jim Leland has said this before, and he's even said that he thinks it's harder to manage in the American League because of this.
He said it again today, which was surprising to hear.
It's harder to manage your pitchers specifically. But yeah, I don't like it. You know, I had the privilege of covering Pete Rose for 4 years, and he referred to, whenever we would bring up the American League, things that were going on in the American League, he would say, well, I'm talking about real baseball.
Pete Rose, what a player that was, though. I mean, regardless of what you think of him, his playing ability and his hustle,
pretty good player.
Off the charts. All right, let's go out to Ken in Clearfield. Hey, Ken, how are you today?
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Oh, great. Nice talking to you. Hey, I'm talking about the World Series. I kind of favor the Red Sox. The only reason being is it seems like every time they play a series, their batters 1 through 7 at least, they work the count to 3-2, 2-2 every game. They get to see a lot of pitches. That means the opposing team is making a lot of pitches. They start. It's unreal the way they wait. 3 balls, 2 strikes almost every count. Then they do something heroic, I think Boston's going to win in 5 games. What do you guys think?
Gene?
You know, I was going to say that very thing. Boston is better. I'd like to see a long series, obviously, just for the entertainment value of it. But I think you're right about the Red Sox and the way they go about things. And I think they're the best team, and I think they will win in 5. But, you know, they're annoying as heck. You know, everybody who comes up there is waiting for a walk. That's why they played an 8-6 game, a 9-inning game against the Astros that went 4 hours and 33 minutes.
Ridiculous.
It's the game. They're grinding the game to a standstill.
Let's go out to line 3. That's Jim in Mount Lebanon. Jim, welcome to the Sports Call. How are you?
Oh, good, Bob. How you doing?
Great. Thank you for calling.
Remember I called you last week? I said Bell wouldn't show up.
Yeah, I remember that, and you were right. I thought he by now would be here.
I also told you that KC's going to kill Cincinnati, and they did.
You are Nostradamus. What is your next prediction?
My next prediction is the Steelers are going to kill Cleveland.
What's that score going to be?
Because you're giving Cleveland 6 points.
All right, what's the score going to be? Gene wants to know.
I would say it would be 35-10.
Okay.
All right. I don't have a problem with that. I think they will. I think they remember week 1, and I think Cleveland is in for a long day at the office. I do. Although that team has played them well. Not necessarily here. In Cleveland they have. What do you think?
I kind of agree with that, but this is the NFL, and nobody knows. That's why we watch it.
You really don't know. Week to week. Karen in McKees Rocks.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Gene. This
Hey,
is
Karen.
to Gene. I just wanted to say kudos for that wonderful Sunday article in the paper about the old-time football game.
It was very well written, as
great,
always.
and I had so
Thanks,
much
Karen.
fun reading it.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it very much.
Welcome.
You are a wordsmith, Gene. That's the one word that I use when I talk about you, a wordsmith.
Getting away with it, Bob.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
tough to do. It's a grind. Dave in Delmont. What's up, Dave?
Nothing much. Thanks for taking my call. I would just like to say that I think it's a no-brainer to trade for Peterson. One, we don't draft a very good cornerback in the first round.
Yeah, but they have they use other picks in the first round or other positions that they've had success with. So you'd be willing to give
I
up a first round
understand
pick.
that, but what do you think we need the most? We need a cornerback. We traded for Joe Hayden, and it worked out really
No,
good.
they picked him up after he was released. But yes, they made a big play and gave him a lot of money, and I like that. They were unusually aggressive for something like that. They recognized his value. And Gene, I think this is a similar situation. This is a 7-time Pro Bowler. He also has 2 more years left on a contract. You know.
They traded for Boykin, too, for the
Yeah,
Eagles. That
they
didn't
did.
work out. So you don't know. I agree with the caller. I think they should do that, but there's no guarantee that it's going to work out. And what are you giving up exactly? You don't know.
You don't know. And they don't like doing that.
How about
typically.
Lev Bell for Patrick Peterson?
What do you think about Lev not showing again today? When is he going to go wait till the trade deadline?
You know what I was hoping? Maybe Lev will hit that Mega Millions jackpot, and that should make.
How about if that happened?
Clear him up to come in. You know? Do you think that would cause a furor?
That would cause quite a bit of
Yeah,
problems.
might be the end of the lottery if that.
Or Kirk and Harmer. What's up, Kirk?
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Good. Listen, Art, Rooney, I love you guys. I love your family. I've known you guys all my life. But really, you think by stating that the Steelers organization is handling this situation as best they can, the cumulative wealth of the Rooney family and its percentage of his owners is well over $2 billion. Cut somebody, put the guy back in the lineup. You got the best wide receiver in football. You got the best quarterback, if not the second best. The offensive line is clicking like crazy.
And a running back who has better than Bell numbers.
Oh, my God. Put him back in the lineup and win a Super Bowl, for God's sake. Let's go. Get it over with, right?
Put who back in?
He wants Le'Veon Bell to go back in. But I said the running back they have now, James Conner's doing better than Le'Veon Bell. Okay.
All right. Well, I don't care how much money the Rooneys have. Apparently, they're doing very well. But there is such thing as a salary cap. You can only pay so much.
And they've saved a lot under it. It's kind of dead money, and as far as this year, they're saving it. They're not giving it to Le'Veon Bell, who's turned his back on it, and will do for a few more weeks apparently. So, you know, but you still have the parameters of the cap. And Gene is right. You can't just say give him. They've offered him a lot of money. He's chosen not to accept it. People keep saying pay him. They've offered him a lot of money, more than any running back in the history of the game, and you're still saying pay him more.
His agent accepted it.
I know.
All right.
This is such an old topic anymore. I mean, we keep talking about it, but it's an old topic. When are we going to stop talking about it?
No, I implore you, Bob.
We'll be back after this.